All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to F1 Manager 2022. So here we are in Singapore and just finished qualifying. Although I thought I'd try something. I thought I'd try something new. And I simulated the qualifying. I've never simulated qualifying ever, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to try simulating it and see what happens. So it was a bit of a tester, and we didn't do too bad. Lando up in P4, and Daniel down in P8. We got P4 and 6 in Q2, which we also simulated. We didn't simulate Q1, we did that. I did that 2 days ago, I think. But yeah, so we simulated this one. 4th and 8th. 4th happy with 8th. A little bit disappointing. I think Daniel might have been qualified a bit better if we'd have manually done it. He might have got held up a little bit because he's 4 tenths behind Lando, and I don't think he should be 4 tenths behind Lando, so perhaps something happened on his runs. He's behind the Mercedes. Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, both with grid penalties. So Lando's going to be up into 3rd, and Ricciardo might be up into 6th. So that's not too bad. So it's Singapore, full of corners, which should suit our car. Not only that, but we've also got a new rear wing, which was ready just in time for this race weekend. So we've got another new upgrade here as well to help out. So all in all, I'm looking forward to this one. We're not looking too shabby. Qualifying only 2 tenths slower than Max, and yes, half a second, well, just shy of half a second slower than the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, but nonetheless, it's still looking pretty promising. So without further ado, let's get ourselves into the race day.
The time has come for these
and see what the strategy is. It's going to be a cloudy but dry race, apparently. And I didn't check the kind of strategy call here, but it's probably just a one-stop. And in fact, tyre wear is not that much of an issue here, because we can do a soft onto a medium stint or a soft onto a hard stint. Quite helpful to know what the pace of the tyre is here. Can we go to the reports, please, and see what the circuit info is saying about expected strategies and expected compound performance? The soft tyre is 6 tenths of a second per lap quicker than the medium, and the medium is a whopping 7 tenths faster than the hards, hence why softs onto medium. Having seen that, is clearly the strategy of choice. So not even touching the hard tyre, we can delay our first stop a little bit. We have to be careful which tyre we actually put on here, because we've used all the soft tyres for qualifying, and had we have done our research, we would have probably saved a set of tyres in Q2 if we'd have manually done it rather than using 2 sets and had one brand new set of softs for the race. But we didn't do any forward planning, did we? No, because why would we do that? We're only trying to get P2 in the constructors, and every little margin that you can possibly find is going to be useful. Terrible, I know. Oh, there you go. Let me do the compound here. So we're going to have to put them put them both onto the least worn of the tyres. Well, 92% is as least worn as you're going to get. We're going to actually try something a little bit new today also. We're going to underfuel the car. Both car. Oh, I don't know what? I don't think we will. It seems like a good idea, but I'm not too sure. We've never done it, you see. So I'm kind of thinking, do we risk it? The thing that should determine it is how likely a safety car is, but the game doesn't necessarily replicate real life that accurately. So when it comes to safety car chances and stuff. So although it might say 100% chance, it might still not happen, so still a bit reticent to trust that. But it is tempting. Just one lap of fuel less could make a big difference. Could be worth it. Could be worth it. A 10th second per lap. Nah. It's out there enough, not even using a hard tyre in the race. This might be other than wet weather, this might be the first race that we've had a strategy that doesn't involve the hard tyre. I'm trying to think here. Might not be, but it's very rare that we don't use the hard tyre. So this is enough of a change. But yeah, but with the grid penalties, Lando in third, Daniel in sixth. Here we go. Let's just dive in and see if we can make it count here today. Red Bulls suffering penalties. If they start at the back of the grid, this could be really good for our constructors push. Let's see what happens as we start the race.
A partly clear night.
Partly clear night. Partly cloudy skies. The lights are on. We've got 4. We've got 5. Underneath the Singapore Airlines banner, and we are off and racing here with Lando Norris as we ride on board. He looks like he's already got alongside Carlos Sainz going into the first corner, up the inside of the second corner, around the outside of the third. A little complex of chicanes there, and we're up into second position. Ricciardo still up in P6 with a wall of Mercedes really in front of him as Lando Norris is stalking, harassing the championship leader Charles Leclerc going down this long curving straight as we try to late brake, but we're going to be on the outside there, but nonetheless carrying some speed through. It looked like we might have got some momentum there, but just not quite, as we had to put the brakes on. Danny Rick trying to get past Russell. He's jinking left, he's jinking right, and he's now trying to do this, go on the outside there. He's got the inside line for this corner. Will he make it? No, he won't. It's a high octane action here as I get rid of my preview screen. Always a bit jittery. Right, Norris, he's up to left. Oh, he's got a good exit out of this corner, but he's been squeezed against the wall by Charles Leclerc there. That was a bit naughty. But nonetheless, he's now going round here, coming into the final section of the race. No, he's making a lunge up. This is a really bizarre track when it comes to the AI's handling, isn't it? Nonetheless, let's go. Let's continue to ride on board. Side by side in this street circuit. This is surely a recipe for disaster. Has he made it stick? Look at this. Lando Norris is up into P1.
McLaren gain a position.
And we're going to start to dial it down. Danny Rick is up into 5th position. We're going to dial him down temporarily. He's got past Russell. He's got past Russell. He's now on the back of Hamilton. But Norris is in P1. He is in P1. I repeat one final time. He is in P1 for the time being here in Singapore. Lap 2 out of 61, and looks like Charles Leclerc is all over the back of him like a rash. This is going to be a tough long race with these Ferraris, I feel, but nonetheless I think we're going to have a decent race pace. I could be biased, but I actually genuinely think we will, as we ride on board with Daniel Ricciardo, who is gapping Russell. DRS not enabled just yet, but already gaining a second on Russell. Perez, the lead Red Bull at the moment, is in P7. Verstappen is in P12. It doesn't look like it's the easiest track to pass on, so this could be good for us. By the time the Red Bulls get anywhere near us, they might be in the distance behind us. Just a speck in our mirror as we ride on board with Daniel Ricciardo, or should we ride on board with Norris, who has a Ferrari all over the back of him and not going away anytime soon, it seems. Or maybe he is. 6/10. Let's have a look at the tyre wear here. Yeah, we're suffering a little bit more. He might be conserving his tyres a little bit, but nonetheless.
And DRS enabled. DRS enabled.
This is looking not too bad. DRS is enabled, which means that Charles Leclerc will get DRS. I don't know where the DRS zones are in this track, so we're going to ride on board to find out if we can see exactly where they are. I think there might be one on this kind of straightaway here, perhaps. Charles Leclerc is within a second, and the DRS indeed does open. So there is one down here, as it's a fairly long, fairly longish kind of a straight, if you want to call it a straight. It does curve round, but not enough to close. We'll ride on board with Leclerc again, see if we can find out where the other DRS zone. Clearly not doing any research at all here. For those of you that watch the Mortuary Assistant playthrough stream, I'm recording this pretty much straight after finishing that. I just had a very brief break, so I haven't had time. I haven't got time to sit here and faff about with planning strategies. I don't want to give you the impression that I'm semi-competent here. So there's another DRS zone down this straight, and there'll probably be DRS zone down the pit straight. So there could be, well, 3 DRS zones on this track. We'll continue to ride on board, looking backwards for now, and we don't have to actually. We'll go on the external director cam until we get to the pit straight, as Daniel Ricciardo is still on the back of Hamilton. Perez has actually passed Russell, so he's making his way through the field and will probably start to close on Daniel Ricciardo unless he passes Russell pretty sharpish. Coming down to the final corner of the race, DRS down the pit straight. There you go, it is. So there's 3 DRS zones. We now know where they are. One here, one there, and one at the straight here. None of which you can see because my camera's probably covering it, but it looks like Leclerc is a little bit closer to Norris, but nothing for us to be overly concerned with, because Norris is doing a sterling job in keeping those Ferraris behind. He's not pulling away. I don't think he's holding them up though either, as Leclerc's DRS is open here. Is he closer? He is definitely closer than he was last time. Is he close enough is the question to pass around the outside here. And we're going to give Norris some pushing on the engine to defend, and he doesn't need it. He's just about kept ahead there. But there is another DRS zone in a few corners' time. That Ferrari of Leclerc with DRS is looking very dangerous, as Ricciardo seems to have passed Lewis Hamilton. We missed it. Let's watch it live. DRS up the inside. Hi, hi, ho. And he makes it stick, putting another car between him and that Perez, that Red Bull driver, Perez, our championship rival, constructors rival for second place in the constructors. That's what I meant. Right, DRS is open here, riding on board with Charles Leclerc, as he's got DRS coming down, but this is only this is a much shorter straight. So that's much more tricky. The pit straight could well be where he gets us here. We'll continue to ride on board with Charles for now. We're not going to overly fight just yet. Towards the later stages of the race, if it's this close, we will of course manage this to try to ensure we finish ahead. But with so many laps to go, it would be a very long and tedious process to try to overly defend this. So yes, going into the final corner here, Lando is managed to make up about 7 tenths there, so I don't think Charles will be getting past going into this as a fastest lap for Danny Rick, who's definitely flying. We're going to give Danny Rick a little bit of extra engine or decrease the lift and coast so that he might be able to close that gap to the Ferraris down a little bit. Can't really give him too much pushing on the tyre. We can afford to give him a little bit of pushing on the tyre, not too much. And we'll just see how this gap manifests here. He's extending. Norris, look how close that is. That was the end of that DRS straight, was it? Yep, that's why he's closer. Danny Rick 2 seconds. Let's give him a bit of deployment, just a little smidgen of deployment as well. Just trying to see if we can latch on to the back of this little train here, led by his teammate Lando Norris, of course. He is catching, isn't he? He's pulling away from Hamilton, and he seems to be catching. Oh, look how close Leclerc is. Still not close enough though, but it's mightily close. We're dragging Hamilton with us here, which isn't what we want. We want Hamilton out of our DRS. We want to get DRS from the Ferrari of Sainz. We're going to actually, let's continue to deploy until the end of this lap. We're within DRS range now, so this is good. 8 tenths, 8 tenths, 8 tenths. There's a detection line, and that looks like we have made it into the DRS range of the Ferraris. We've pulled out of the DRS of Hamilton, and that's a second fastest lap in succession, as Daniel Ricciardo is the man on the charge, it seems. Perez is closing the gap to Hamilton, not good for us, and Verstappen is still stuck in P11, which is good for us, very good indeed. Right, riding on board then with Charles Leclerc, as this is a DRS zone, and he can't make it. He can't make it. He's been trying in earnest to get past Lando, but Lando is still maintaining the gap. We can clearly see the Ferrari, probably the quicker car, but not quick enough to make the pass on us, which is music to our ears and a sight for sore eyes, and the other metaphors that mean it's damn good. As Daniel Ricciardo is managing to stick with the Ferraris here, which is also pretty cool. Hamilton is not doing too bad. It's definitely noticeable since Monza. I noticed it when he won the race clearly, but even before Monza, the race before I think as well, that Hamilton in his Mercedes, more so than Russell, seems to have taken a step forward. It is noticeable, which is good. It's good to have another car. You know, who knows if next season pans out, we might have Ferrari and Red Bull and us and the Mercedes really close together. That would be cool. Or then again, we might not. I mean, hopefully not. I mean, no, to be fair, hopefully yes, because it means that more teams will take points out of each other, and it'd be quite nice to have all, you know, the top 4 teams really close together. As Daniel Ricciardo has well and truly caught up to this little DRS train. Dare I say that Lando Norris is slowing everybody down? Maybe, may just be. May just be. Right, Charles Leclerc riding on board. Still can't get past. Got a right, then a left, then we've got a little complex before the next sharp left-hander, which leads into a second dose of that drag reduction system. So far hasn't been much use to the Ferrari so far, but yeah, clearly we're seeing here this is a very difficult track to pass on, which is perfect for us because track position is king, and we have got the ultimate track position, which is first position, as the DRS of the Ferrari open, but not enough speed differential to get past Lando Norris. He's trying to jink around, trying to put him off, but it's not working. The young Brit driving for McLaren, keeping his calm, keeping his cool, and because I've said that, next lap he'll drive into the barriers because commentators curse and all that. It's just what I do. Daniel Ricciardo in 4th. If we were to finish 1st and 4th, I'd take that. That's some massive points gained on the Red Bulls, who are currently 6th and 11th. Can we just end the race now? Just end it now. Cut it. Cut it. Wave the flag. Wave the flag. By mistake. You're 53 laps early. Am I? Oh, sorry about that. Got a bit overzealous. Okay, let's take a look at Leclerc. This is the longest DRS straight on the track. And this is looking a bit more promising. Actually, I must admit, this is looking a lot more promising, in fact. Lando's fighting. Lando's fighting for it. You want to get past me, pal? You're going to have to work for it, he says. And work for it, Charles Leclerc. You see, the difference between us with Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari is that Leclerc can't afford to be too gung-ho. Because if he wipes himself out, science is behind him. Could be championship deciding, that mistake, couldn't it? Whereas for us, we're not battling for the title. Yes, we're battling for second in the constructors, but we're not battling for the title, so we can afford to be a little bit more risky. And that's the benefit that you have. Whereas when the championship leader can't afford to trip over you, you have to be a little bit more cautious. So that gives you a slight advantage in those 50-50 moments. Not that the game would recreate that to any degree of accuracy, but I like to think that maybe, you know, it might be a thing. It's certainly a thing in real life, that's for sure. But anyway, Hamilton is really keeping up with the back of Ricciardo here, and he's actually pulling away from Perez, which is exactly what I'm saying, in that the Mercedes seem to have definitely made a step forward over the past few races. It's good to see a Mercedes pulling away from a Red Bull again. Yeah. And Verstappen is now up to P9 actually. He has made up 2 positions since we last checked in, so he's now on the charge, and next to his sights is actually a Mercedes. The Mercedes of George Russell, who has noticeably had I'd say not a poor season, but certainly he has not really been on a par with Hamilton, has he? Right, here we go. This is the situation once again, and unlike last time, Leclerc not been able to get side by side with Norris on that one. But it's fine. It's fine. Let's have a look at the tyre wear situation. Going the wrong way here. Looking pretty even. Nothing too major. I seem to recall in real life that the undercut on this circuit is pretty powerful. Whether the game would recreate it, and I think it would. If you looked at the differential in the lap times between the compounds and stuff, I think maybe an undercut here would be pretty good, especially when we're on soft tyres, because the drop off on the soft tyres is the most out of any tyre. So when these soft tyres are worn and somebody puts on a fresh set of mediums, those set of mediums are going to be quicker. So I do think an undercut here would be quite powerful. So we've got to be careful here when we bring our cars in that we don't get undercut, but we don't want to come in too early, because look at making these tyres last, these mediums last till the end. Seems very tricky if you come in on lap like what, 17, 18. You've got to take it until at least lap 20. So I'm reckoning lap 20, 21ish. If that means that they come in and undercut us, then what we'll do is we'll extend our stint rather than coming straight after. We'll extend and hope that we'll have the fresher tyres towards the back end of the race and take the soft tyres as long as they'll go, which could well be to around about lap 25. Just take them as long as possible so that we get, you know, a bigger tyre offset, which may help us. It may not, but we've got to try something different if we get undercut. And this time, Charles Leclerc sweeping up the inside now. It's taking him a while to get the job done, but he finally has. He's up into P1. Is that the be-all and end-all? Of course not, because now we're going to have the shoe on the other foot, and we shall have the DRS on him if we can keep up with him and stick with him, keeping his coattails and all that. But let's see what happens. We've got a DRS zone coming up, and I'm just debating whether or not to start to push, and when is the best time to make this work for us. We've got the DRS open here. It's not a very long dose of it, but it doesn't have to be, because Norris is like, see you mate, I'm off up the inside. It took you ages to pass me, well I'm just going to pass you straight back like you're not even there, buddy.
Doing a good job so far.
I'm telling you, it's that championship tippy-toey cautious approach. Leclerc can't afford to trip over us, and therefore he's being more cautious with his passing, whereas Lando's like, no, I'm passing you when I'm ready to pass you. And I'm ready to pass you right now. Giving him a bit of engine mode, because it seems like we're still a bit side by side here. Let's have a look. It is very close as we continue to battle. Leclerc will have DRS here, which may help him, but it's not that long of a pit straight. Outbraking. Yes, he's gone up the inside, but no. Let's go a bit of deployment from Norris now. Let's fight back. Look at this. This is quite the battle. Daniel Ricciardo is getting a front row seat as to what's going on here, as Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc are having a right old ding-dong battle, and the end result is that Lando Norris is still just about in P1. Ricciardo is in P4, out of the DRS range of course, but it's fine. I think we're kind of almost resigning ourselves to the fact that we are going to go longer on these tyres. I reckon the AI will come in roughly where our strategy says to come in, which I think is too soon. So I think we're kind of almost preparing to go long here. But yeah, this is pretty nice to see. As look how close Verstappen already is to the back of George Russell. It was 3 seconds about 3 laps ago. Now it's down to 0.3 seconds. And if he gets past Russell and Bottas, this Red Bull is looking pretty quick. Lap 11. Of course, given the fact that we're battling with the Ferrari so closely, we certainly ain't going to be speeding up the time here. Should really have topped up my juice before I started streaming this. Or recording this private stream. You know what I mean. Because an hour and a half of me blathering on, my throat's going to be a bit dry at the back end of this race. But anyway, this is that DRS that proves to be quite an irk. But yeah, not positioning his car very well there, Charles Leclerc, which is good to see for us. Good to see. And Daniel just maybe keeping his car outside, in a clean air and not getting too close to the fight. He's just like, I don't need to be that close to the battle. What if they all tangle over and trip over each other? I'll just be there to pick up the pieces. Keep Hamilton 1.5 seconds behind, nice and comfy, and just run my own race until it's time to start pushing properly. Because when we did start pushing him, he did catch up. So, but we know we've got a little bit of pace in hand if we need it. Charles Leclerc, here he comes, final sector, twisty, turny, not really going to pass here, not going to pass on the straight, so he's, I can imagine him probably getting a little bit frustrated, to some degree, but that's what we're here to do, to make your life a misery. By the time we're finished, you'll be sick of the sight of this orange car, and make the most of it, because I was going to say you might be seeing some more of it next season, but if we actually get him in our car, which we're planning on doing, then he might actually see more of it from the inside, because he'll be driving it. Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, teammates. They get on well in real life, I believe. So it'd be quite cool to see them in a championship winning car together. It would really be cool. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I'm not really the biggest George Russell fan. He's not done anything to me or anything, or done anything that anything major. But there's just something about him that I can't put my finger on that I'm not over keen on. I don't know what it is. I think he's very much a PR kind of person. Tries to say the right things at the right time, very much very PR, very image focused, which is not a bad thing, but it kind of almost makes somebody a bit almost, I say lifeless, but whereas I think someone like Lando Norris is much more personable. And we're all different, of course. We can't all be the same, I suppose, but yeah, there's just definitely something about George Russell that I'm just like, and I'm not convinced. I know he's a fellow British driver and all that, but and it's not because he's in the same car as Hamilton and beat him last season. It's nothing to do with that, but there's just something about him. And I think in the heat of the moment, sometimes you show your true colours and let your guard down, especially when the red mist descends. And when he had an incident when he was in Williams with Bottas in Imola, which was actually his fault, to be fair. He got out of the car and he smacked Bottas on the head, on the helmet, with his a fist, in anger, and there's that's you showing your true colours there. PR image out the window. But anyway, I would much prefer to see Lando Norris win a title than George Russell, bless him. If there's any George Russell fans out there, I do apologise, but hey, we can't all like the same people, I suppose. But anyway, we are now in our pit window, which is very premature, and Charles Leclerc still can't get past. We're dropping a little bit too far behind, I think, here. In fact, Hamilton is catching us slightly. That Mercedes has better race pace than Daniel Ricciardo does right now. So we're just going to put a little bit of push on, maybe even a little bit of pushing on the tyres, because we can't fall into the DRS clutches of Hamilton here. And look at that, Verstappen is up to P7, he's past Russell, he's past Bottas, he's 3.8 behind his teammate, he is on the move. Perez is slipping behind further away from Hamilton. So, yeah, all of us have got the pace on this particular Red Bull. We'll see how quick Verstappen is in comparison to his teammate. But I got a sneaking suspicion it'll be a fair bit quicker. I find it hard to believe that Perez in a Red Bull is falling behind a Mercedes. Yeah, look at this. Early pits. Early pits. This is, yeah, we're going to go long. We're extending. We're going to extend our stop. We're going to extend here. We're going to extend. Let's see what tyres he goes on. They should probably be the hards, I reckon. Yeah, putting the hard tyres on. Hamilton coming in, so they're all going soft onto hard. We're doing soft onto medium. Don't forget the mediums. The medium tyre was like 0.6 of a second per lap quicker than the hards, and we can make it to the end on the mediums if we extend the soft stint. So this is really playing into our hands. So what we're going to do now with both cars is this is the time to start to push, reduce that lift and coast, because the other cars have now got fresh boots on. They're going to be faster than us now with the fresher tyres. We don't want to be pushing our tyres too hard because we want to extend our stop to make it easier for us to make these mediums last. And what we could really do with when we're on our medium tyre stint is we could really do with a virtual safety car or a full-blown safety car, because that will ensure that we can make these tyres last longer under the cool safety car conditions, and that would really play into our hands. Anybody else going on to the mediums? Alonso, Ocon, although it looks like they may have started on those tyres. Anybody that's coming into the pits at this point has put hard tyres on, it looks like. So, interesting. The whole of the grid going soft hard, and we're one of the few that are doing soft medium. Should be very interesting indeed to see how that pans out. So, is it going to be a good one? Is it going to be a catastrophic? Who knows? Verstappen up into P4 and in clear air and on soft tyres. He's going a bit longer. Is he going to come and put a set of mediums on? He could still be a threat to both of our drivers. He looks to be very quick. Let's have a look at the gap. His last lap was a 144.3 compared to Ricciardo's 144.8. Half a second per lap quicker than Daniel Ricciardo, who is not lifting and coasting at all. And this man is taking half a second per lap out of him. So it just looks like Perez is just very slow in this particular track, whereas Verstappen is literally on fire right now. Anyway, the gap is 9.5 seconds to Ricciardo, so he's still got a fair gap to make up, but there is a long way to go in this race, so he can technically make that up. But Leclerc could also be going on to a set of mediums at this rate, because he hasn't pitted either as we ride on board with him. Nice big Ferris wheel. Singapore, I mean, I just random chit chat here for a moment. I've travelled all over when it comes to the Caribbean and to Europe, clearly on cruises. But I've never gone east. And one of the places that I actually fancy visiting out east is Singapore. I quite fancy going to Singapore. Some people say Thailand. Thailand is less appealing to me, although I hear it's very nice in certain spots. But yeah, Singapore definitely would be on my... If somebody was to say to you, you're going to have to go to an Asian country, where would you go? I mean, Singapore would be like top of my list. I don't know why, but I just really fancy going. Okay, so Perez. Verstappen has pitted. He's put on a set of mediums as we expected him to do. He's now coming out behind some of the cars, and look at that. I don't know how close he was to his teammate when he came in, but he's a lot closer to his teammate when he comes out, so maybe the undercut isn't quite as powerful as we thought here. Russell coming out in P12, that's horrendous there. Let's have a look at who hasn't stopped yet. Ocon's, Joe hasn't stopped, the front four haven't stopped, Alonso's still up there too. He's miles behind Ricciardo. So it's Hamilton. Ricciardo and Hamilton were quite close together, so we'll see where Ricciardo comes out when he finally pits as to how close he is to Hamilton. Don't forget Hamilton is now on a set of hard tyres, which are getting worn down as we speak. So we want to just continue to extend our strategy, extend our first stint, and take as much as we can out of these tyres before we put that set of mediums on. Go as long as possible. That's the strategy. And here comes Charles Leclerc. Let's have a look at Charles Leclerc. Here he is, going down, slowing down to probably 40, 50, 60 mile an hour, probably 40 I would say, as he's trundling down. His pit crew are at the ready. He's putting on a set of mediums, which completely makes sense. Leclerc has pitted. He's coming out. Where is he going to come out? Is Alonso going to hopefully maybe hold him up for a few laps? That would be quite nice. Alonso on a worn set of medium tyres ahead of the Ferrari of Leclerc would be nice. He has come out behind. I mean, on a fresh set of mediums, he should make short work of Alonso. But if he could hold him up for a lap or two, gives us that extra bit of breathing space. We've got an incident in the Sector 3. What did I say? Virtual safety car.
Virtual safety car, virtual safety car.
Will this virtual safety car last until... Now this is interesting because this is right in our pit window. I wanted to extend, but pitting now under a virtual safety car would be quicker for us because we lose less time in the pits, relatively speaking, because the other cars are trundling around. So we have to assess whether it's better for us to pit now. We're going to have to pit now. If the virtual safety car isn't finished by the time we get to here, we have to pit with both of our drivers. Because that's if the virtual safety car indeed.
They crashed out.
Ooh, hang on.
Take a closer
What's
look.
happened? It's Gasly.
Look at this. It was the Alpha Tauri driver involved.
Oof. Innocuous accident that, but anyway. So we're coming round here. I don't know how long these virtual safety... Gasly is already in the pit, so it's just time to clear the debris and stuff from the track. I don't think the virtual safety car is going to last until we get to the pits here. I don't think it's going to last. And we should be saving our tyres at this point, I suppose. But I'm kind of worried about this pit window of ours. Don't want to leave it too late because if we get too close, then it'll be too late for us to make the call. Virtual safety car will be ending soon, surely. Oh Jesus! As soon as we pit, I bet you it ends. I don't want to come in this soon if it ends. Oh, we're actually before our strategy. We're before our strategy. This is really bad. I'm going to split them. Now, I think the better strategy would be to come in now. And if we come in now, I'm kind of thinking a set of hard tyres would be better because they'll last until the end more comfortably. They are a bit slower than the mediums, but they're more durable. Whereas with these tyres, we'd have to make them last. So we couldn't push them. It does say that their life is 60 flipping laps, though. You know what? Let's just follow Leclerc. Leclerc's got mediums on. We'll put mediums on. We'll pit him. But Ricciardo will keep out. and continue to stretch his stint that bit longer. And then put a set of mediums on. It would be just so much easier for us if the virtual safety car ends right now.
And boxer slap.
Yeah, confirm. Happy to box at the end.
Okay, we're pitting with him. We have to commit now. Do we do the same with Ricciardo? A virtual safety car, you lose far less time in the pits. It would net us a much, much better time gain potentially than not pitting right now. We've got less to lose with Ricciardo because he wasn't ahead of the Ferraris. I think we'll do the same, but with him we'll go on to hards. We'll split the tyre strategy, but the same strategy. So pitting with both of the cars under the virtual safety car because it makes sense, but one going onto a set of mediums which we'll have to nurse, and one which goes onto hards which we can clearly push and see what happens there.
Let the pit lane.
Okay, understood.
Okay, this virtual safety car has to last
Use the pit limiter
for at
on
least
the
another
pit
30
lane.
seconds now for us to get a benefit out of this. To be fair, even if it doesn't, we've got some benefit already because Alonso should really be pitting now. So it's another synchronised stop for the McLaren boys. Difference of opinions on the tyre strategy, but nonetheless, pitting under the virtual safety car, as you can clearly see, gives us that advantage. It means that with Daniel Ricciardo, we have actually leapfrogged the Ferrari. And bearing in mind, he was a fair few seconds behind, and of course undercut too. So Daniel Ricciardo, of course, needs to go aggressive, needs to maybe a bit of deployment and a bit of pushing to get us up to speed here. I've got them completely in the wrong engine modes. Let's give them a bit of push coming out to warm the tyres up and get the foot down here.
Go, Kate. Push. Okay, understood.
Right, Norris needs to nurse these tyres to the end, quite clearly.
Just be careful with this tyre.
Yeah, confirm.
Look at this Alonso right all over the back of us here. We need Alonso to just stay out that a little bit longer, and hopefully we can put a bit of gap on him. Okay, so this is a one and only stop of the race here, and Lando could keep the Ferraris behind him in the first stint, so this could be a good sign. We're a second ahead of Alonso with Ricciardo. Don't forget Ricciardo's tyres can be pushed quite hard. Let's stop the ERS deployment now. We can still push the engine for a little bit more though. Leclerc itching to get past here. Itching, itching, itching. Sainz is right behind him too. They're still battling for the title, don't forget. Ocon, Hamilton, Verstappen, still 5 seconds behind Hamilton, 5.5 seconds. So this is absolutely fantastic for the McLaren boys here. And we're going to go back into balanced
And save fuel from now, please.
with
Save fuel
both
from
cars, but Ricciardo can still push his engine as he's got a nice 2.3 second gap now to Alonso. Alonso just on those 73% mediums. Maybe has he come in yet? No, he's made those medium tyres last 20 laps and still got plenty of life in them. You hold up that Ferrari, Mr. Alonso. Keep holding that Ferrari at bay. This is exactly what we want to see. No, 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 no. Oh, that was too easy, Alonso. That was too easy, man. Okay, Leclerc's got past. Far too easy for our liking. And he's now only 2.6 behind Ricciardo, who of course is on those hard compound tyres, which are slower than the mediums by about 0.6 of a second per lap. And already Ricciardo is 5.4 seconds behind his teammate. It's almost tempting to have Ricciardo hold Leclerc up. Purposely hold Leclerc up, let Norris, get a good 10-15 second gap out in front, and hopefully cruise to the finish. Quite nice, wouldn't it? Look at that. If he keeps on as he's going on the current pace, he'll just about make it to the end on these tyres. I think putting the hard tyres on Ricciardo might have been a mistake. But we'll see. Leclerc isn't really making too much of a gain, and don't forget his tyres are 96%, same as Norris's actually. So Sainz is on a set of hards. A 144.3 versus a Ricciardo 144.4, and Norris with 143.9. So I think Leclerc might be maybe conserving his tyres a little bit at the moment, whereas Norris is just quite happily chugging around with a decent pace, building that gap to Ricciardo, who I'm expecting towards the back end of the race, when his tyres are less worn than those mediums, will start to show a bit of pace in comparison. But even now, with the push order, is still maintaining a good pace to Leclerc. So this is looking quite healthy right now. We're quite happy with this. Verstappen has got ahead of Perez when that happened, but his next target once again is Lewis Hamilton, who's right on the coattails of Ocon. But it doesn't matter what those Red Bulls do, really. As long as we finish first and second, that is a massive haul of points for that constructors' race for second. So Norris, lot 22, we're just over a third of the way through this race. This is a very long second stint, no more stops. 6 seconds ahead of Ricciardo, who is maintaining the gap to Charles Leclerc. Very healthy indeed. I don't know whether Leclerc is conserving his tyres, or whether or not actually in this stage of the race Norris is just that much quicker. In the zone, in the groove, pumping in fast lap times. Verstappen battling with Ocon. Hamilton has just passed Ocon. This is a right old ding-dong battle here at the moment for P6. Currently Hamilton is winning at the moment, but he's going to make some gains on Alonso, who will obviously have to stop again at some point. So this is not Alonso's natural position. Leclerc is now 2 seconds behind Ricciardo, so he is gaining. Look at those lap times. 2/10 on that lap, but still slower than Norris. This is good to see. Alright, 1.8 seconds. It is coming down now. Not at a thunderous rate, and certainly I do believe that given that the Ferrari isn't that much quicker than Ricciardo, that Ricciardo could realistically hold up the Ferrari of Leclerc. We could actually manage his ERS deployment and his engine mode a little bit too, to really just slow him down. So as soon as he gets into DRS range, we're going to go into full micromanagement to give Norris the best chance of winning. Because if we finish first and fourth or first and third, well, you know, a 1-2 would be nice, but first and, you know, another respectable position on top will still be a very good haul of constructors' points. So Daniel Ricciardo has got his part to play in all of this. Fastest lap for Norris, as I said, he's kind of finding that groove. He's definitely 1:43.6. That is a very quick lap. Yeah, 2/10 quicker than Leclerc there. A whole half a second quicker than Ricciardo, who had a bad lap there. But nonetheless, Ricciardo is still in second. Look at that. Isn't it a thing of beauty? Seeing your own car in P1 with nobody around him. Comfortable, in the groove, pumping in lap times. Verstappen's nicked his fastest lap though. Party pooper. You were damn party pooper. He's passed Hamilton as well, and Ocon. He's definitely on the move. Alonso next in his sights. On worn mediums, shouldn't be a problem. He'll be up into P5 and quite close to Sainz. Verstappen is by far the quickest man on this circuit today, but he did take engine penalties, right? So he's probably got fresh components in his car too. Definitely making it pay. I don't think he's going to win the race. This is not very good for our constructors. With every position that he makes, he's getting more points for Red Bull, unfortunately. Hopefully he'll get no higher than 5th. Hopefully. So the red machine, that prancing horse, that Ferrari, the team that's been in every F1 season since it began in 1950, is slowly catching Daniel Ricciardo of McLaren, who are another long-standing team, not quite as long as Ferrari clearly, but another long-standing F1 team. Norris, 7.6 seconds, now beginning to come up to the back markers. First up, Lance Stroll. Hopefully we'll get out of the way quite quickly here in his Aston. Another driver locked up. What's happened? Anybody that looks like it's got a yellow flag situation?
We've just had a crash on the track.
It's
Take a
Bottas.
look at the replay. Now let's watch this. The Alfa Romeo involved in this one.
Oof!
Crash is terrible news for the team.
Bad news for Bottas. Is it going to bring out a safe? No, he's made it back to the pits just about without a front wing. We certainly do not want a full safety car at any point during the rest of this race. Virtual safety cars will be fine because that doesn't bunch the field up. We don't want any red flags. Any full-blown safety cars will not be good at this moment in time. 8 seconds of gap to Ricciardo. .2 seconds now. Leclerc is behind Ricciardo, so we don't want to be too premature in asking him to hold Leclerc up, but we do want to start thinking about it very shortly. Sainz is 5 seconds behind Leclerc, so even if we lose position to Leclerc, to be honest with you, we're quicker than Sainz. So I think third place for Ricciardo is definitely doable, which makes me wonder just how much do we hold up Leclerc here. Verstappen up into P5 now, making light work of Alonso it seems. Fastest lap of the race for Norris now, as the fuel loads begin to dissipate from the cars. Those lap times begin to tumble too. But Norris, he is looking damn quick. And Leclerc isn't tyre saving because he's got the same tyres that we have in terms of the wear. I wish people would stop locking up. In fact, we were half a second quicker than Leclerc on that lap.
There's been a crash.
It's now
Sounds like a single car.
now
We can take a
Tsunoda's
look
turn
now. Now
to
let's look at this.
bin it
Focus on Tsunoda.
into a barrier. Oh
Oh,
God!
what not?
I think some of these drivers are forgetting they've got steering wheels. Anyway, Norris, fastest man on track and really pumping in those lap times and pulling out a gap on Ricciardo. Leclerc is beginning now to eke closer, ever closer to Daniel Ricciardo. Still not within DRS, but now all of a sudden, as I say that, he just about is. And then he's just about not. It's so tight, isn't it? So tight. But it's quite pleasing to see that Leclerc on quicker tyres, in a quicker car, is struggling to catch Daniel Ricciardo. It really is. First half of this race, or first third of this race, on the soft tyres, the Ferrari seemed to be the quicker car when compared to both of ours. Although Leclerc couldn't get past Norris, he definitely looked to be, if he was to get past, he'd have pulled away kind of situation. But now in the second 2/3 of the race, we put the harder compound tyres on, and it's just working so much better with our cars, to the point where I believe we're faster than the Ferraris. The only reason why the Ferrari's catching Ricciardo is because he's on a softer compound tyre that's significantly quicker per lap. And bearing in mind that, give it another 20 laps, Ricciardo's hards will be, a good 10-15% better than Leclerc's mediums. We're going to be even better off. This is when Leclerc should be making his manoeuvres, making his moves past, because his tyres will start to drop. But anyway, I'm debating whether or not we should actually hold up Leclerc with an actual hold up order, or whether we should just manually manipulate the stuff here to just keep him behind us with a bit of ERS, bit of engine, lift and coast reduction. Will he even get past us even if we don't? I think he will. Yeah, look at the speed difference there. Quite a big speed difference when it comes to the extra DRS there. So we do have to play this carefully, but we will try to defend where we can. So when we get onto this straight here isn't a problem. This is too short a straight for us to be overly concerned with him passing us. And we've got a 6/10 of a second gap. We've got some back markers coming. So we're going to put our foot down here. He will get DRS, but As I say, it's far too short. Then we're going to go for a bit of harvest here.
Focus on recharge.
Through this section of the race. And then we'll go on for a defend when it comes to this back straight. Because this
overtake to defend.
Clearly is where we're at most at risk. So we'll put less lift and coast. Defend on the ERS. And then harvest and turn it down.
Okay,
For the
recharge
next
on.
section of this race. Of this lap. And then we'll give him some more deployment when it comes to the next DRS zone. So this is us manually keeping Leclerc behind us rather than using that option to hold cars behind. 9.5 seconds, pretty healthy gap. Deployment, push.
Okay, use to deploy. Okay.
Uh-oh. Nah, he won't pass us, it's fine. This is too short. There we go. And harvest and balanced.
Okay, Daniel, recharge on.
Okay.
I don't fancy watching the next 30 laps from the rear view, but we might have to do it this rate. I think when we get to about 15 laps, maybe 15 seconds, we'll just let things naturally take their course. As I said, we're... Oh! What did I say? This is what we do not need right now. A safety flipping car. Has Lando got a big enough gap to get out and in for a fresh set of boots? We've got to be careful here to see what other cars do, because if other cars start to pit and get a fresh set of tyres on,
Safety.
we should follow suit. Guan Yu Zhou has done something.
Sounds like there's been a crash.
Major
Let's see what
crash.
happened
Major
there.
crash
Let's
alert.
take another look. There we have Joe. There's the crash.
See, somebody else did that earlier, and they didn't bring out a safety car, but he did. No rhyme, no reason. Right, Alonso's pitting, which is fine, because he needed to pit. You see, if cars start to pit that have already pit, that we might have to be a bit switched on, but it doesn't look like they are. And poor old Norris's hard work to open up a 10-second gap has just been eliminated. But we're not overly concerned, because he had the pace. This is helping the medium-tired runners, which is not good for Ricciardo, unfortunately. Yeah, nobody seems to be pitting, so we're going to speed through this safety car situation. This could be out for a while, because the back markers have to unlap themselves and everything, so... Okay. Safety car collecting the pack up. That cars may now overtake. Never again will I ever forget that ruling. Okay, safety car.
Expect the safety car will come in at the end of the next lap.
The end of this lap.
Okay. Let's see what pace you can do.
Right, so Lando Norris riding on board with. He becomes the safety car as he begins to back the pack up now.
Just recharge off, please. Just recharge off.
Cool.
Yeah, still quite close to the safety car here. Okay.
And a reminder, no overtaking until the line.
Safety car is beginning to pull in, and it's time for us to get a move on now. So turning everything up to full beans. Here we go. Go, 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 go!
Let's try and push up.
Norris should be fine. It's Ricciardo that we're most worried about here. His hard compound tyres will also take a little bit longer to get up to speed. He's got a Ferrari right on the rear end of him. So this was exactly not what we wanted to see. And of course it brings Max Verstappen back into this race. And he was looking very quick indeed. So this has thrown a massive big spanner into the works. But all we can do is roll with it. Lando Norris is off. Streaking off into the distance here, off the restart, dragging Daniel Ricciardo with him, it seems. Leclerc already a second behind. Sainz has got Verstappen all over the back of him. Hamilton is in 6th. My voice is going now, it seems. I've been talking for far too long. I might have to finish this this session with mime. Okay, but okay, this is looking good. This is looking good. Norris is once again re-establishing that kind of same pace that he had before the safety car came out, and of course that means that we can push on the tyres a little bit if we wanted to towards the end of the race if we need to. Not sure that we do, but we'll turn him down to standard at this point. Back down to aggressive there. And we'll continue to push both of these until they've got like half a kilogram left excess. And then we'll save that half a kilogram for defending, for later in the race if need be. But look at that, Lando Norris, 141.3, which is the fastest lap of the race, and a second quicker than anybody else on the circuit. Lando Norris is just basically turning around to anybody today and saying, look, no matter what you throw at me, safety cars, virtual safety car, whatever you throw at me, today is my day. Nothing shall stop me other than my own stupidity driving into a barrier. Nothing shall stop me today. I am going to win this flipping race. He's flying around this circuit. Absolutely flying round it, and I can't say I'm too unhappy about it. I really can't. This bodes very well for next season. It really does. Oh my god, we've got a competitor that's locked up. Hopefully he's not going to bring out something else, more drama.
I think that was a crash.
It's Magnussen. I'm not going to watch it. Magnussen is still moving, so that's a positive sign. Right, Ricciardo's already pulled out a 3.5 second gap to Leclerc. No, it's a wrong, because we've got it on the wrong thing. We're on an interval. It's 1.8 seconds a gap to Leclerc. Look at Verstappen. He's all
DRS
over the back of Sainz. DRS is enabled. I don't expect Sainz to be able to hold this fight off for too long. Verstappen has just looked so quick today. Both him and Lando Norris look to be the two quickest men on the circuit today. Right, we're going to turn you down now to balanced. Continue to push with Norris a bit longer. He's got a bit more fuel in reserve. Ricciardo, of course, can still push on the tyres. But it's a McLaren 1-2, as it has been since the stops. As we continue into second half of this race, hopefully there'll be no more drama. The last thing we need is a bloody red flag, I tell you that much. Boof. Oh, it's a red flag, says Crofty. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, he's already got past Sainz. I didn't say it wouldn't take him long. I'm telling you, he could be a bloody threat to win this race. If he wins this flipping race, after starting wherever he started, I'll be furious. He's looking mightily quick. 2.5 to Leclerc. Let's see how quickly he gains on Leclerc. I think maybe he might meet his match now. Hopefully. Hopefully. Very much hopefully. Right, let's turn Lando down too.
Big lifts.
Come, come.
Yeah, look at that, he's gaining, isn't he? 2.4? 2.3? 2.4? We'll keep an eye on that gap. 2.4. 2.4, let's see if we can remember. Elsewhere down the field, Sainz has got the DRS on Verstappen and he's using it to keep up with him, but clearly Verstappen is a quicker man, not today, so I don't expect Sainz to get back past, but maybe just kind of hanging the coattails there. Perez on Ocon. Look at this little train of cars. Got Perez, Alonso, Russell, Bottas. Vettel up to P12 in the S, that's a pretty good result for him. Pretty good result for the four-time world champion there. 2.3. So he's not... 2.1. 2.3. Okay. Seems to be quite stable. Leclerc is 1.4 behind Ricciardo. This gap is coming down now. Ricciardo's 3 seconds behind Norris, and Norris is pulling away once again from his teammate. Ricciardo is just a shade slower than the Ferrari, just like before. We've got Verstappen, who seems to be a shade quicker than Leclerc. So, you know, Verstappen, Leclerc and Ricciardo, we could end up with a 3-driver, 3-constructor fight for that second place position. That's how close it is, and this is what we would like to see next season. You know, if we could have us, Red Bull and Ferrari at the very least, all very similar performance, taking points off each other, battling, that would be pretty cool. We shall see, but yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a concertina effect behind Ricciardo, and Norris is just in a world of his own right now, a little class of his own. He's got that McLaren working to a T. It's working very well. Right. So when Leclerc catches us again, we've got two options. We can once again do the manually switching ERS engine mode blah blah blah, or we can just tell him to hold up and not fight it too much. Kind of still want to do the manual stuff. I think it gives us the best chance of keeping him behind us, but it's to do it for 23 laps is very excessive. Don't mind doing it for like last 5 to 10. As soon as it gets into DRS range, he will be passing us if we don't do something. Because don't forget, straight line speed isn't our forte, so the Ferrari will cruise past us on the straight with DRS, probably quite easily. This little train of cars, look at it, absolutely insane. Line astern, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars snaking round Singapore. Leclerc now 1.1 seconds. He's about to get DRS in the next lap or two. We have a decision to make. Verstappen 1.6 behind Leclerc. He's definitely quicker than Leclerc. What's his tyre wear like? 70%. It's the same as us. It's the same as Leclerc and Norris, and yeah, he's just so damn quick. Watching this gap teeter on the 1 second mark. Of course, we've got a bit of fuel to play with, got plenty of tyres to play with. Could even put the tyres onto attack for a lap or two and see if we can get that gap back again. I think you know what? I think we're going to do this actually. Let's push, deploy again.
Push now.
Let's create a gap again. Let's give him.
Okay, use deploy.
Just create that bit more of a gap again. So this is basically him going full push, full beast mode. Get that gap back up to about 2.5 seconds, and then we'll turn everything down again. Let Leclerc busy himself with the Verstappen for a few laps whilst we put our foot down here. I suppose this is where we've got a little tiny smidgen of an advantage. We've got that little bit of excess fuel. We've definitely, with Daniel, got lots of excess tyre pushing. And that will come in handy for moments like this when you just need to create that extra little bit of breathing room. Which clearly we do, because Leclerc was catching. 2.2 seconds is the gap there. I was hoping for about 2.5 or so before we turn things down, but I'll turn things down now. There we go. So there you go, we've got Verstappen now, less than a second behind Leclerc. Hopefully they'll just kind of trip over each other a little bit and slow each other down with a bit of defending, a bit of battling maybe. Give us a bit more breathing room. Give us a few more laps of light relief, you know. So obviously we were pushing with Ricciardo, hence why he's gained on Norris a little bit, but I do think that there is starting to become just a little bit of the excess tyre degradation, meaning that the soft tyres' performance advantage is beginning to diminish when compared to the hards. I still think the soft tyre is the medium tyre rather is still faster than the hards right now, but I do think that gap is coming down, which could only be a good thing for Daniel. But it's quite nice to see that when we push and get a 2-second gap, it'll take Leclerc a good 5 to 6 laps to make that back again. We can pull out a 2-second gap in about a lap or two, and then him to pull it back takes 6. So we only have to do that twice more, and then the race is done pretty much. So, and we've got definitely 2 more pushes in us yet. So I think we can control this race till the end with it. I think a 1-2 is definitely starting to look like it could be on the cards. The only thing that could stop it is if Verstappen gets past Leclerc and starts to close on us quicker than he is. If Verstappen gets held up by Leclerc or can't pass Leclerc, that's when we'll be starting to breathe a bit more easily. Because I think this man right here is the one that is the biggest threat to our race victory. And I say victory because I still think he's capable of winning this race right now. I might be being very pessimistic here, but I think it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Norris still has the fastest lap. I don't think have we ever had a fastest lap point this season? I'm trying to think, and nothing springs out to say that we have. So this could be a first for us. This is where he's likely to pass Leclerc. Look at the speed. Look at the speed of that Red Bull down the straight. It's ridiculous. That's definitely his new engine. His new components. Making them work like a charm. Obviously DRS helps too. But that was literally effortless. On a Ferrari. Just cruised on by. That is worrying. Because Verstappen will catch Ricciardo probably quicker than Leclerc was doing. So this race is not over by any stretch of the imagination, as Leclerc tries to fight back on the Red Bull here, but he's not going to make that work, I'm afraid. He's not going to make that one stick. Just got to hope that Ricciardo can make this work. Perez is in P8. He's managed to pull ahead of that little gaggle of cars. It seems that little gaggle of cars is just about stringing out a little bit more now. It was 5, it's now 3. Alonso's in P7, Perez is in P8. Hamilton, having looked quite racy and quick when he was in P4 in the first stint, the second set of tyres, he's been a little bit more off the pace. Nonetheless, 3 seconds behind a Ferrari. There has been a safety car, of course, but it's not too disrespectful. And look at this. Let's see what this Ferrari can do down this notorious DRS straight here. The one place on the lap that's the main place to pass, it seems, on this track. It's too far back. Verstappen's still 1.9 behind Ricciardo, so he's not gaining on Ricciardo as quick as we would have thought. And maybe, just maybe, is it time for those hard tyres to shine? Is it time for them to shine? He's not gaining. I'm not saying that as in like I'm upset about it. It might sound like I'm saying it like I'm upset. I wanted him to catch us so we could have. No, don't catch us, clearly. It's kind of surprise more than anything. And as I said, don't forget, with Daniel Ricciardo, we can afford to push at least twice more to eke out that bit more of a gap. I mean, I'm quite tempted to do it now. Quite tempted to do it again. Get that gap up to 3.5 seconds maybe. Give us some proper breathing room. But then again, let's not bother. You never know when you might need this extra juice to defend against Verstappen in the dying embers of the race. Although, having got past Leclerc and sived his way through the field, now it seems he may have gone far forward as he's going to get. I hope so. 45 laps, 16 to go. Norris and Ricciardo. It's a McLaren 1-2 as things currently stand. It was a track that we anticipated being kind to us. It suited the characteristics of our car as a vehicle that is proficient in cornering and downforce. Qualifying didn't go quite according to plan with one of our drivers, but nonetheless, well, simulated of course. The race itself has lived up to what we expected. We have bought an upgrade here, the new rear wing of course as well, which has also helped with the cornering. All is playing into our path. 1.6 seconds is the gap. Right, so what we're going to do with Ricciardo again is we're going to go for the same again.
Maximum pace, Daniel.
Maximum pace.
Okay,
Let's just create that 2.5, 3 second gap now.
use the overtake button. Okay,
Let's just give ourselves another bit of a breathing room for another sort of 6 to 7 laps or so. This is the second time we've done this. It will be the penultimate time because we can do this at least one more time to really put the pace down, the pedal to the metal, create that gap to Verstappen. So we're just managing the pace here within the confines of what's available, what tools are in the box, what reserves are in stock. 2.2. We'll see if we can get up to 3. .4. 2.5.
Okay, keep looking after the
There
time.
you go. We've got the nice 3 seconds there.
Okay, understood.
So we've run out of ERS. You can still use neutral, of course, because you'll gain 2 per lap. You'll use 2 per lap. It will be swings and roundabouts. But in terms of being able to deploy again, that might be more tricky. So our final kind of push to get breathing room should we need it might not be quite as effective as it has been. Leclerc is just about clinging on to Verstappen here, but it's clearly a struggle. It's only the DRS that's keeping him within range and not clearly the pace of the car. Russell is on the back of Bottas. But other than that, we've got Ocon on the back of Tsunoda. Ocon on fresh tyres. I think he's just come in and he's put a set of softs on, so this should be like shelling peas here. Ocon should be passing him pretty sharpish at some point. Right, I think we can 2-speed this a little bit now. Just because we've got a nice healthy gap and it's not coming down mega fast and we're quite nice and comfortable. Ocon battling with Tsunoda, DRS open up the inside, he makes it stick up to P15 and now looking to catch Albon, which he's doing pretty sharpish. Leclerc still unable to do anything about Max Verstappen right now, and Verstappen not really coming into the clutches of Ricciardo at any great rate of knots, which is certainly, as I said, not too bad for us at all. You can look at last lap times to get a better feel for the pace of the comparative cars, and Verstappen's about 0.2 of a lap quicker than Ricciardo at this moment in time. And he's got slightly more worn tyres. 2.4, 2.5, we've got like 13 laps to go. It's looking a little bit close. I mean, it depends if we're have we just lapped some cars? Yeah, that's going to have slowed us down. Hopefully it'll slow Verstappen down a little bit. It has put him back 2 or 3 tenths there, which is always good for us when that happens. 2.6 is the get. We'll just keep an eye on that. Leclerc is now out of the DRS range of Verstappen. So everybody on the track is pretty much spaced out now. And Verstappen, now that he doesn't have to worry about the Ferrari behind him, can focus purely on what's ahead of him. And what's ahead of him is a McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo that is showing no signs of letting up right now as we come into lap 51, or not 50 rather. It's of course the lead car that's determining this number, and Norris is down the road a little bit further. So 11 laps, 12 if you include the one that we're on. And as things still stand, it's a McLaren 1-2. Well earned. We've had safety car, we've had virtual safety car. It has fallen relatively kindly. We had a bit of a debate about strategy. We did split the tyre strategy. We did bring both cars under the VSC, which was the right choice. In the end, if we didn't bring Ricciardo under the VSC, he would not be in P2. So that was the right choice. Putting Ricciardo on the hard tyre, a debatable choice, but it's working out so far, touch wood. And if you look at the lap times now, yeah, Verstappen's still that little bit quicker. Not by much, but by a little bit, and it is now down to less than 2 seconds, that gap. It is getting closer. We will have to give a push order to Ricciardo one final time to extend that gap. We don't want that gap to be coming down to less than a second. So to 1.7. We're going to do it now. Do it now. We don't have the deployment this time though. But just giving him the full push on the tyres, an extra less lift and coast, should hopefully maintain that at 2 seconds. 2.2, 1.9. I just really wish the race would end right now. It's so close. It is so tight. But with the extra pushing that we're giving Daniel, it is helping to maintain it at around about 2 seconds. So it's just giving him that extra couple of tenths that he needs to get the job done, even without the extra ERS here, which is absolutely fantastic. Let's ride on board with the race leader here. He's been going about his business nice and quietly, doing exactly what he's needed to do. He's got plenty in the tank to push with should he need to, but he doesn't. He doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to get round, do exactly what he is doing, and if he does that, he should be A-OK. We're going to turn down with Daniel once again, simply because we've got that 2.5 second gap now, and we're going to leave ourselves with just a little bit left in the tank, just in case Verstappen gets to within DRS range of us. We have something to defend with should we need it. Not much. We could probably defend for 2 laps.
Okay, I'll hand a lock on.
Copy.
It's a crash!
Daniel, why? Daniel! I'm not injured. Good. Just nothing but egg on your face. Or hurt pride, yeah?
Let's have a look. Now look at this. Daniel Ricciardo involved here. They're way off the racing line there. That isn't good.
I don't believe it. I do believe it. I don't know why I say I don't believe it. Clearly I do believe it. 7, 8 laps to go. A 1-2 on the cards, and Daniel screws it again. The A1 ring, Red Bull ring, a 1-2 on the cards. Daniel screws us up there, drives Norris off the road. Massively valuable points in a race for second in the constructors, completely and utterly thrown into the flipping bin. Unbelievable. That is so annoying. I've been jawed an hour and a half, or however long this session's gone on for. watching the gap to Verstappen and Leclerc for what felt like forever. And right at the end,
Safety car is in this lap.
he's
Safety
cocked
car
it
is in
up.
this lap.
We've still got 5 laps. We have still got 5 laps to go. I mean, we've got the pace. We know we've got the pace for certain.
%100% pace now.
Right, here we go again. It's a second safety car restart here in Singapore. Norris once again leads the cars around the final corner. He puts his foot down. He's still in first. He's got Max Verstappen right behind him. Leclerc is in third. Sainz is in fourth. Hamilton is fifth. Alonso, Perez, Bottas and Russell. That is your top 10. But screw the rest of them. All we care about now is making sure that Lando Norris gets round this track in first place. 4 laps, Lando. 4 laps. Just don't bin it like your blasted teammate did. That's all we ask. Just don't bin it. We can afford to push on the tyres now until the end. We've got plenty of tyres left because of the safety cars helping the medium tyred runners. We've got plenty of fuel. We've got plenty of ERS. I almost feel like we shouldn't be pushing him in case he cocks up. But we want to create that gap to Verstappen. In fact, we should probably get a fastest lap at this rate. With a full push, a full lap of pushing like this, we should get the fastest lap. So, no, we've already got it, but we can go even faster than what we've already got, I think. So, we'll continue to push now. We've got plenty of toys available. But my God, Daniel Ricciardo, we had first and second in the palm of our hand.
So there are 4 laps to go.
Right, so this has to be this will be the chance for him to get fastest lap, because that previous lap was under a safety car restart. 141.6. We've got another incident here.
Who's running wide
It's
there?
Bottas. Right, come on. I don't think I feel. I wonder if in this game, if you are pushing the drivers like this, that there is an increased risk of them crashing. Because if there is, I really should turn him down right now. Why are we going for a fastest lap when we already have the fastest lap? I think sometimes, if you're in the zone and pushing, maybe not to 100%, but maybe to 95%, you're less likely to crash than if you back off too much and get complacent. Just keep yourself on edge a little bit to keep yourself sharp, you know? Anyway, we're now going to turn this down to neutral. We'll keep pushing on this stuff. Clearly we've massively created a gap here to Verstappen. We've got plenty of life in the tyres for as little as we need them to do. This has got to be the fastest lap of the race now. Last lap was a 141.6. What's this one? 141.
DRS enabled. DRS enabled.
Is that the fastest lap of the race? Still not?
Big lifts.
Okay, we're going completely now neutral. We don't want any dramas here. I'm going to speed this to 2 speed. I just want to get this over with. I keep my fingers crossed and look up to the skies above. Just make sure that we just don't do anything stupid now, Lando. Come on. You've seen your teammate, or maybe you've not seen it, but you've heard on the radio your teammate's out of second position. You need to bring the points back now to us. We're not going to gain on the Red Bulls anywhere near as much as we need to now, with the first and second picking up 43 points, 44 points if we include the fastest lap. Would have been fantastic. To their 15 plus whatever handful of points he would have got. We'd have been massively back into the hunt for second place. But now we're barely gaining at all. Maybe 5 points we'll gain on them now, which is nowhere near enough. To be fair, second place was a bit of a pipe dream. But when it's so tantalisingly close, you know, you just got to try and go for it, right? Or maybe we should just value the extra wind tunnel and CFD time we'll get for finishing third. Because we probably need that more than the money, given it's only a 2-season save. But Lando Norris is coming round the circuit to start
This is the last
the
lap.
final lap. It has been highly eventful, if not for overtaking on the track really, but in terms of incidents, there's been safety car restarts to get round, virtual safety cars, strategy calls to get right, so it's not been smooth sailing for Lando, but as I said, anything that's been thrown at him, he's battered away. In the second part of this race, after the first pit stops, he suddenly switched his car on and was the fastest man on the track throughout this race. Every restart he's gapped the car in second, whether it's his teammate or whether it's been Verstappen this latest time. Soon as the green flag conditions have started up, he's just put his head down and he's absolutely driven like a future champion in the making, I tell you. So here he comes round the final corner. And is this his first race victory? Because we've had Ricciardo win a race, but have we had this man win a race? I don't think we have. This could well be Lando Norris's first race victory.
Okay, mate. Excellent job.
Well done, Lando. Kept your head while all around you went into a state of meltdown. Picking up 25 points for the race victory. Could have been more, but we shan't dwell on that now. We'll save that for the debrief. Hang your head in shame, Daniel. Hang your head in shame. There he is, look. Race victory. Lando Norris. I think this might be his first race victory. Not only in the game, but I don't think he's got a race victory in real life either. Came so close in, was it Russia? 2021? And then it started to rain and he didn't pit for wet tire, or something happened, and basically Lewis passed him on the last lap or two. Gutting for the poor fella. But anyway, he's won here today in Singapore and fastest lap. For that extra fastest lap point, you get a point, of course, for getting the fastest lap of the race, a bonus point if you finish in the top 10. Verstappen making up 11 places, finishing second. Disappointing for our efforts for the constructors. Sainz finishing ahead of Leclerc there. How did that happen towards the end? Safety car restart and Charles Leclerc got screwed over there. Lewis Hamilton with a comfortable fifth. In the end, Fernando Alonso making up 4 positions to finish 6th, Perez, Bottas and Ocon, and then finally George Russell with another bad day in the office. Drivers' Championship, Lando Norris now leapfrogs ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Catastrophic for Daniel there, losing 2 positions as a result of his failure to finish. Lando moving up 3 places to 4th with his 26-point haul. And finishing 4th in the drivers, definitely a possibility. But look how close it is. 159, 159, 153 and 151. Any one of these guys can finish in 4th position, and it'll be interesting to see who does as the season draws to a close. Ferrari well ahead, of course. We're looking now here, and it's 65 points is the gap. We only made 2 points up in the end. due to the fact that Daniel crashed out, and we could have had so much more. So at 65 points, and I think there's 5 races left, I think we need a miracle to finish second. But finishing third is definitely something to be happy with. Well, Daniel will be getting paid a bonus, will he? Okay, so our front wing research project is now complete, as is our underfloor. So we're going to have our final underfloor. This was our 4th version of the rear wing. We already installed the rear wing. So the underfloor, however, is going to be new. So for Suzuka, an old school racing circuit, the scene of so many championship deciders, including the famous deciders between Senna and Prost 2 seasons running, is the next race. We're going to have a brand new underfloor for that, our final underfloor. So that's going to be our final floor and wing upgrade. Any further upgrades now are going to be side pod chassis and suspension. We're going to kind of rush those through just to get some development in those. Of course, we know what our design focus is. It's always been the downforce, and that will be the same next season too. But we will try to get some other parts on the car before the season is done, so we can carry that over into next season too. But yeah, that's it, folks, for now. Join me next time, 4 days time actually, a double header, as we head to this great circuit here in Japan. What will happen? Can't we just have a nice simple 1-2? No drama, please? To find out what happens, join me next time. Until then, see you soon.